Okay, what's up? This is Jerseys to Crowds. It's a new movement, so look out for some content coming soon.
Yeah, I'm in my own lane. 4-3 reppin', yeah, my gon' bang. It's talking, but they ain't speaking on my name. I'ma make this money, I'm about to free the gang, yeah. On my beer on the back, these call me Stephen Curry. Gotta make this money, gotta make it in a hurry. Do it for the gang, so my don't have to worry, yeah.
Alright, this is Fofo TV. University of Maine.
I go to the University of Maine. This is my second year there. I'm a red shirt sophomore this year. And like Avery said, my family lives in Regina, but I was born in Gaborone, Botswana, and then moved from there to California, and then to various places in Canada, and then I've just been making my way across the states now.
Yeah, D1 official, man. That's a big stat.
It's your second D1 school, right?
Yeah. I went to UMKC first, which was a good experience. I liked it there, and then decided to move on to Maine.
Yeah. So we were talking about, like, before we got on, like, I think as a really good topic for you, it's, you had every box checked. What was your grade point average in high school?
I had a 4.0 in high school.
Okay. How many points did you average in high school?
I was averaging 20 and 10 in high school.
And so in the league that you played in, National Prep Association, were you not the number one rebounder?
I think I was the number one guard rebounder in our league, and then there was a time where I was actually the number one rebounder in the league.
Yeah, and then also up in the scoring.
Yeah, in the scoring, I was always in the top 10, I think, top 15 in our league.
And
Yeah, like you played UIBL.
Yeah, I played UIBL. Went to Canada tryouts, did like all the AAU sessions, did the MPA stuff.
Like you did everything that you were supposed to do.
Yeah, pretty much everything you could possibly think of doing for basketball, high school, post-secondary, like I pretty much did it.
Yeah, and then, and it's not to say, like, you are fucking good. Like, you're good, right?
Yeah.
It's fair to say you're good. And then how hard was it for you to get a D1 opportunity?
It literally felt like I was scraping and clawing every single day to try and get an opportunity. Like, it felt like for months, Huff was on the phone every single day for hours and hours and hours, trying his best to reach out to coaches, contacting them, and there's a bunch of people that reached out with interest, but just getting a concrete offer was very, very hard.
And you were basically, like, in a nutshell, you were dominating every level of Canadian basketball at that point.
Yeah. I
Right?
felt like I was one of the best guards in the country.
And off the court too, like you were in the weight room, you were in the gym putting up shots, you're doing everything.
Grades.
Grades.
You can look people in the eyes, right? Like, you're not doing the bad stuff. Like,
Like you locked your diet in.
Yeah.
You did everything, right?
I did
Like,
everything.
literally
Yeah, we should
checked.
talk about that.
Yeah.
We should talk about when Fofo locked the diet in. Remember when I called? It was like me, you, and your mom, right, on
Yeah,
the phone?
I remember that.
I do not know about this.
So I called guy Ian, and I'm trying to fix up my diet because I remember I came to train with you guys and I almost died. My whole body was cramping up, but it's just because like I had too much mass on me, and I really wanted to lose weight, especially going to college. Just because I've always been a bigger guard, so
Because we had talked about cramps.
yeah, my body cramps way too much for.
Like, you were dealing with cramps every game.
I've
Yeah.
never seen someone get an ab cramp until I met you. Literally, like one single ab.
I still get those to
cramping
this
up.
day.
It was insane.
But it was,
It's like the more muscle you have, the more fuel you need.
yeah, the more oxygen,
the more oxygen, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
blood, everything. But we were on the phone talking to your mom, and I remember, like, halfway through, I'm like, yo, Fofo, your mom's a fucking real one. And like, when I forgot she was still on the phone, like, I was like, God damn.
No funny.
Because she wanted, like, yeah, like,
She was locked in. She was cool. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much like the way it's always been for me with basketball. My parents have always supported me. Like, as long as I'm doing what I need to do in the classroom and I'm doing what I need to do in the community, and it's good. My parents have always supported me in basketball. My mom and my dad, even like my sister, my aunties have always like been there for me to help me with my diet. If I need to get places. So that was,
Because
definitely huge.
where did you went from what to, like, what did you weigh when we started that?
Oh
that diet?
yeah, so when I first started that diet, I was at 220 or 225, and then by the end of the summer, I had cut all the way down to 190.
Talk about like what you were eating. Like what type of diet were you?
It was pretty strict. So me and Ian put it together. It was a keto diet that we kind of tailored for myself, and it wasn't fully keto.
No.
It was just like a modified low carb diet.
It was low carb, but then we added carbs in right before workouts, right before practice.
Yeah.
So that it was like every time that he ate a carb, it felt like he got shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
So would it be like intermediate fasting concept?
I was still eating my meals. It's just like, let's say like in the morning. So this is like a typical day. In the morning, I wake up, I'd have 3 eggs, 3 slices of bacon, half an avocado, and then that's my breakfast. And then for a snack, let's say like I had like, I think it was like a 1/3 cup of almonds, and that's like right before I would work out.
Yeah, and blueberries.
Yeah. So it was like right before you're working out, you're gonna take in it was like we had sweet potato, we had almonds, we had blueberries, stuff like that, just to kind of give you a kick.
Yeah, and then it was like it was basically like preloading a gun, so that when it was time to like perform, because the thing with like low carb diet is like what you tend to get like you're really good at like stability,
Yeah.
but you
there's
have you have no blast.
Yeah.
You have no like
and that's like the sport specific side of it. Like athletes need carbs at certain times to perform.
Yeah.
Right? So like that's why you don't really advise an athlete to be on like a strict keto diet.
no, unless depending on what kind of sport they do, like if they're
Yeah.
a long distance runner.
Yeah, that
or, like,
slow, sustained, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're doing anything that's like hyper explosive, well then you need something to burn.
Yeah. Like
Right.
a fat or a carb to burn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so like we basically like made it so that his entire meal was like his entire body was being fueled by fats, except for when it was time to perform. And we staggered and we entered in those carbs at the right time, so his body felt like he was being shot out of.
And they can burn them.
Could you feel the difference?
Yeah, for sure. The first couple of weeks, like I remember, I remember calling Ian at 11:30 p.m. and I'm like, "Yo, guy, I'm hungry." He told me go to bed. He told me go to bed because he's like,
He's got shawarma already in there. He's got Uber Eats loaded up with shawarma.
Yeah, the first 3 weeks of keto is rough.
It's rough, man.
You're like, because your body, it's like, I tell people like,
flushing everything out.
the 3rd week is like your body's last ditch effort to hold on to sugar.
Yeah.
So it just gives you like these crazy, like your brain is probably getting foggy, you feel lethargic.
Like you feel lethargic, like
Yeah.
you don't have like any energy, like, and you just crave everything. Like everything I saw that like wasn't what I was eating, I was like, man, that looks
And then by
so
week
good.
4, you kind of like the light bulb goes off.
Yeah,
You
by
have, like,
that
clarity.
time it's like you're cool. Like at that point, by week 4, I just felt like, man, I could do this forever because I felt so good.
Yeah, your energy levels are through the roof. You got mental clarity, everything. You feel great.
Yeah.
And then like, so I remember we took the picture, like the first time you came to train, you had the neck cramps. We took a picture, it was like,
This is the very first time you ever came?
yeah, I think it
So
was
this was the time that you like, we had you on the phone and you said that you were talking hella shit.
yeah, you're like, yo, those
You guys
Workouts
lying,
are
bro.
nothing.
You guys lying. All I said that I have never thrown up from a workout in my life, and I did.
No, I think I heard you.
No, I heard you
Yelling
too.
through the phone, like, that's loud.
yo, your workouts are pussy shit. I remember hearing that, I was like, yeah? And he was
And I
like, yo, I'm
died.
Nigerian, I'm built different. I was like,
This
okay.
is facts. That was funny.
And then, yeah, like you came, you did that workout. We took a picture, you had your shirt off. And then I remember we
What
did
do
the...
you not?
Oh, was that my shirt?
And then we
I'm
had-
surprised I got a shirt on right now.
And then we did the diet thing, and then you took a picture, and you were ripped up.
That's honestly to this day, that's been the most ripped I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That summer was like the most locked I've ever been because it was right before my prep year, and that prep year like was strictly business. You know, like I had to do everything possible.
That was the most athletic I've ever seen you.
Right,
Yeah.
and then it just
That
brings
was
it all full circle. Like everything was checked. Everything that you can control, you were controlling it, handling it, dominating it. And like you said, still scraping the bottom of the barrel to go D1, right?
Yeah, like still,
Yeah.
it still was like a grind. Like every single day that like I woke up, like for a year straight, me and Noah Leto would get up every morning at like 5:50, and we go to the gym and we'd shoot for an hour before we had a 2-hour practice. And then we go to class and we have a 2-hour practice after school is done. And then after that, I stay and shoot like literally every single day for a whole year. And I was doing all the extra stuff. I was doing what I needed to do in games, like literally averaging 20 and 10. And not just only on Canadian teams, like when we went to the States, I was doing the exact same thing. But still at that point, like
And in
being
the
a
community too, right?
Yeah,
Like I remember when we were at Notre Dame, and every Thursday or something, Fofo would be opening the assembly, or in like kind of like a leader role at the school, and like looking out for everyone in the community, being a figure in the community. So it's not like only that.
He checked
literally every
checked
single
every
box.
Yeah. And you know what's really hard for basketball player is to walk with faith, because basketball players have this culture of like, you know, we always got to portray that we're the man, we got everything sorted out. But when it comes to like trying to like reach for a goal, you have to at some point walk with faith, saying like, I know that that's my end goal. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna get there,
but I'm doing everything every day.
And it's like, and it's like when it's like, you know, December comes, haven't heard. January comes, haven't heard. February comes, haven't heard. March, and it's like, you know, you're like down because you said May. It was like May, June.
Yeah, I think I committed like somewhere in May, maybe even June, and like that's where my parents come in like huge, and even with Huff, just keep me like solid, was like there was always hope. Like I never lost hope that I was gonna get my opportunity. But you can't see it. Like you literally have to go in every single day and work, and even like the days where, like, I remember I was getting this is how hard it is. I was getting letters from Colorado every week.
I remember that
for like 2 months, no offer. Like I was getting
so much interest.
Like there's interest from everywhere, but like to even just like get a concrete offer, like at any level, like that's why I think people don't take.
Yeah,
like,
the interest and contact, like that means nothing.
It's literally just like coaches are just reaching out to you, and people take that for granted. It's like, and even like sometimes I don't say I would take it for granted, but sometimes I lose perspective of it. Is the fact that like getting to play at a post-secondary level, getting your school paid for in any capacity, is a blessing. Because if you can think about all the guys that you've ever seen like come and go, like in the community that played high school basketball, that like that's where it stopped. Like didn't even get to play like the lowest levels of college basketball, let alone like the highest level of college basketball.
I think the problem is like the current generations, because no one checks in on, like once you leave like the high school club, the reality is a lot of kids don't watch college, they don't pay attention, they don't even realize all the guys that fell off. They just think like, I'm gonna make it, I'm different.
That guy in one.
Yeah, I'll beat him, he's whack. They don't actually see all the athletes that fall short.
Yeah, there's so many guys. Like I've seen so many guys come and go.
Oh, yeah.
And
how many guys
that were
we've
filthy.
seen.
They're filthy. Like,
filthy.
I
But
know
they
guys-
missed one box.
Yeah.
Every coach has a million reasons to tell you no, and it's your job to eliminate those no's.
Yeah.
But how many guys like they're like, oh, like if I'm nice, my grades don't matter. Oh, if I'm nice, I don't have to respond to that coach. Oh, that's beneath me. I'm not gonna like message that coach back.
Yeah.
Right?
You gotta be,
Or some guys
bad
like,
man
or
to have
overvaluing,
grades.
like, I'm too good for this, or I'm too, when it's like, you have an opportunity at a lower level and you don't want to embrace it, right? Or like, I have to go D1, or like, and coming back to that, like, I'm not trying to crush anyone's dreams, because like, I got told like by teachers, like my parents, that I couldn't do what I did, right? So it's like, I'm not trying to knock you, but like we always say, your actions have to match your goals.
Yeah.
Right? And I see these kids out here, great kids, love them, they're always walking around, help them, but they're not even doing like 10% of what you were doing, but they're like, I'm going D1. And it's like a buzz term, right? And then we try to tell them like what it actually takes, like, okay, that's fine, we can help you.
Yeah, let's set up the routine.
Yeah, and then it's like the next day they don't show up. Yeah, like you're crazy. I don't have to do that. Like,
To be fair, like 10% of what Fofo's doing is still pretty good. Like what Fofo was doing at Notre Dame, I was like,
but
holy crap!
No, it is good,
like I
though.
work hard and like I was like, wow.
But it's not D1.
Yeah.
That's all we're trying to say.
Well, like even just like the reason why everything I did was like probably like amplified was just because I had people like Huff in my circle, like, and Huff was the person that kept it real, and you guys kept it real with me. Like, nobody cares, work harder. That's what I heard every single day. Like, so it was almost to the point of like I probably did too much. I probably did like stuff that was like I didn't have to do.
I think it was good, like, because you and Huff were together for so long that when you finally got together with us, we echoed that same message, but you probably hadn't really heard that message get echoed before.
Yeah.
So I think we just reinstilled something that you already know. It's like when your parents tell you the right thing your whole life, but then you learn it from like your friend.
Yeah, like, well, this clicked.
Yeah, like, oh, like he said it, so it makes sense now. And it's like Huff was saying it the whole time, and then it becomes like almost like white noise. It's like, yeah, like he always says that.
Like, work hard, but it's like, so are you really working hard? Like when I came here for my first workout, like I was like, oh wow, okay, so like that's what it feels like to push my limits. Because even like now, like I won't even lie, like there's times like I'll do like at least like for lifting, like I'll do a lifting workout, and like they'll be like to failure, but I'm not going to failure, to be honest. Like the only place I've ever gone to failure is here. Like that's like the only place that pushes me.
Comparable.
Yeah, there's no place in the world.
I feel like I could do the same workout somewhere else and it wouldn't hit the same.
Yeah, literally.
Well, because you'd have someone in the background be like, yeah, no, it's okay.
Well, you got you two crazy guys behind us like yelling, we don't
Just
care.
do it,
Get it done.
You did have a hard day.
But like I think,
But to be honest, like if like we have clients in here that are non-athletes, right? They come in and we don't push them like that. It's just when you guys tell us your goals, we're just trying to match the work with your goals, and that's it.
That's facts.
And that's all it is. That's literally the method to the madness. So don't come in here all this big Power 5. I'm going to Kentucky, and then I'm like, okay, let's start the Kentucky path today, right? And then it's just like, oh no, it's too much, this, that, right? So it's not that we're doing it to like make us feel better or for Instagram or like, because there are different levels, and I don't think people really understand. They think all we do is like black kids out to make it look good, but no, like we're trying to get you to a level so that you can push yourself. You don't need us, right? Like
once you know you're like, this is where I found what my limits are, and that's what I felt like was what pushed me more in my prep years. Like, and even now I keep those lessons I learned from here, and even at my first school at UMKC. I learned those lessons about like I really know what my limits are now. You know, like when I'm in practice. Let's
really talk about physical limits, because I heard a story about Fofo going to a national championship game, walking up to the game in an air boot, taking the air boot off during the warm up, dropping 30 after the game, putting the air boot back on, and then leaving because you had
to get an offer, man. I was fighting.
You had to get an offer.
Fighting for my life, bro.
Right?
Yeah. So in my prep year, I had a stress fracture that started in October, early October. After a game, I felt my shin. There's like a hole there, and then I went to get a bunch of MRIs and X-rays, and I was basically just getting the same thing back. Like, oh, you have a stress fracture. Like, you probably shouldn't play on it, but if you play on it, like, it's just gonna hurt. And at that point, I didn't really have like any choice because, you know, like. I always wanted to go D1. Like my vision and my goal since I was young, or at least until I like understand the concept of basketball.
Well, you were gonna do it until you were told no.
Yeah, I was gonna keep on going until like the last day of recruitment ended, and let's say I didn't have a Division I offer, and then like I can live with that, just because it's something I always wanted to do. So going into that year, I just kept on playing on that, and the stress fractures grew. And by the time we got to nationals, I was literally like popping 4 Advils, throw my boot on, walk to the game, warm up, play the first half, ice at halftime, take 2 more Advil, finish off the half.
Like you were just in a zone. Right?
Yeah, I was just walking.
We took in our Notre Dame year is not.
Yeah, no, my Advil, I took the AB in my Notre Dame year.
We should have got a sponsorship.
No, honestly,
honestly, Advil, if you ever see this, sponsor us.
We're
your #1 customer, I promise.
Skittles.
That's what we call them. We call them Skittles.
Man, like how many guys do you know that like they'll go to warm up, they'll shoot, everything's fine, they'll shoot, be like, today's not my day. And then they just coast for the rest of the game.
Because we tried to explain that to a couple guys this year, and it was kind of seen as like we're not telling kids to like play through injuries caused. Like we're not saying pop 12 Advil a day, walking. But we're like, there's a certain mentality when you're an athlete, like you're gonna be banged up.
Well, everyone's playing hurt, but not everybody's injured.
Yeah,
right. There's a complete difference.
Like there's gonna be something.
Advils, is what we're taking is because we can play through like.
Yeah, we all know
our hamstrings.
And you sign off on that when you become an athlete.
100%.
Like as soon as you become a serious athlete, you're gonna be banged up. Period.
Like we literally, I joke about it all the time. I tell kids like all the time that ask me about it. I'll wake up every morning and I am in pain, like in some form of pain. Like it's either my knees, it's my back, it's like it's always gonna be something. But it's like you gotta get through it because at the end of the day, like nobody, you signed up for it and nobody feels bad for you. There's literally millions of kids. Like people think it's a joke and say there's literally millions of kids like begging for an opportunity. Like there's kids that text me every single day, like yo, like please put me on with your coach. And this thing, but like that's just me. Like just imagine like every single guy on my team has multiple guys hitting them up being like, yo, text your coach.
Maine, right?
And that's at Maine. So just think about there's 360 Division I schools.
Yeah.
And each team has 12 to 15 people on the roster. And then those 12 to 15 people probably have 5 people each text and be like, hey, what's the word at your school, man? I'm trying to come play there.
Yeah. And wherever they came from, there's another like 30 or 40 guys that are filthy that just have one or two things that they can't figure out.
They just like it was a bad time, and like literally the thing about my offers at the end of the day was it was just God's timing. Yeah. I obviously I put in the work to be able to be in that position, but at the end of the day, like it comes down to like timing and just you just have to stick with it and have faith.
Yeah, so sometimes you're getting tested, right? And it's like there'll be adversity because realistically, how many kids would have tapped out after that injury? You know, it's like, you know what? Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, that's a gnarly scar.
Right? Yeah, you got tested and you passed the test and then you're opportunity kid.
Fuck that.
You don't count it?
What are you supposed to say? You got scars?
Like,
You got scars? You got scars?
You got no choice but to make it through. Like you literally have no choice. Like nobody's gonna feel bad for you because at the end of the day, if you get injured and you never play again, it's just like, oh, there's just another guy that got hurt and just never played again.
He could have been good, but he wasn't. You know.
I know so many guys that are like legends, like guys that like are like buckets. Like they could have definitely like. I know we always say like this guy could go to the league, but there's guys like that I know that like, definitely could have been in the league or at least had a shot at the league. Yeah. Just because they got an injury and they couldn't make it back from the injury, or they're just never the same after their injury.
Yeah, but then the other part is that like, how many guys do you know that are filthy but they just don't pass the eye test?
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Like they just like, oh, I don't know, there's something about him I don't really like, right? Or whatever. There's so many reasons why.
I hate the eye test. Get that thing all the time.
Well, who would have known you'd be a 4?
Yeah, frick. I said it actually. I said it in the summer.
Well, I had to tell David over there, this guy plays a 4. I'm like, no, but he's a dog though. He's like, no, but like that's Canada. I'm like, no, David. I'm like, if I beat you 1-on-1, like you're not getting a bucket again. And he's just like,
well, put in perspective. Like guys can say what they want. Like Avery plays a 4 in Canada. I played 1 through 5 in the States. Like
it doesn't matter.
Like, and we both play point guard on the same team.
We both play point guard on the same team, and like we're playing.
People just like you said, people just don't know how Avery's wired, right?
Yeah, it's a mentality, like, and like there's so many things to be said about like I know guys that average like 2 points or 1 point. But I promise you, if they came to a run, like they would give everyone you love a bucket. Like literally, like. Yeah. But those are guys that kids would be like, if he can make it, I can make it. Like he averages 2 points a game. Well, it's like okay.
I hate when people say, oh, if this guy did it, I can do it. Yeah, it's like we don't understand all the little things. Yeah. You went to one run when like there was like no ref. Like guys are messing around, you got like a couple buckets on. You're like, okay, I'm better than him.
Something that I found, like, and I also like learned this year that I hadn't noticed as much, I guess in the past, is that like if you're not at the next level, if you're not tying your skill and your body with your mind, like with your IQ and knowledge, then you're literally just like you're just skilled and you're big body, but you're not good. Like it's actually so insane. So talk about like when you're out there. Like, there's probably freak athletes, people that are like, you're amazing, but you know, maybe like don't tie like their IQ or like have a good head on their shoulders.
Or like their will, their heart.
Yeah, man, I've seen a lot of that, especially on my team. I know a guy that he literally has a 40-inch vertical, but like he just couldn't get the plays down. Like there's guys at my boys' school that are guys that they should be at high major schools, but they're not because they can't do school or they can't function on the court. And the biggest thing is like a lot of people think like you're gonna get to college and it's just gonna be go. Like yes, most teams like play in a free flowing setting, but for the most part you're gonna have to understand sets. Nobody in the game is not gonna understand sets. And even if your team plays without sets, you you have to guard a team that's gonna have sets. Like I remember
You have to understand concepts.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
you have to.
You have to understand concepts.
And so like now it's to the point where like we'll be playing on defense or offense, and like Huff used to always say, it's like the older you get with the game, like you just start figuring stuff out a little bit more. And I know I'm still like really, really young in what I'm doing, but like there's even stuff that like, because I've been doing it from being in prep, I've seen it so many times. It's like, okay, like I've seen this set a million times. This is how you guard it, or somebody's guarding me this way. Like this is how I'm gonna come off
and
as
it's,
the open.
and it's not that, like, so university, it's like the idea of university sports is like you learned how to play, like you learned how to, like, your skill, whatever. University is about learning how to manipulate other things. It's like how to be a step ahead. It's like it's literally like, oh, I put just like checkers. Like, no, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. This is manipulation. It's like, if I do this, that guy's gonna do this, and that guy's
setting up stuff for later in the game.
It's like I run this play 3 times because I know that that's gonna open up this flare or something. Like
Like countering.
Nuances, right?
Literally, like most of the time when a team runs like a ball screen set to start the game off, like they're not looking to like score the ball screen. Like obviously, like they're looking to score, but they're looking to see how you guard it, so they can make adjustments.
Yeah, they're reading your second and third line of defense. They're looking at your help side guy and your help the helper. They're like, oh, the help guy never comes, so we're gonna send a slash.
It's more thinking than you actually think.
And it's like a football reference, right? Like that's where the Patriots are so good. Like literally the first half, all they're doing is collecting information. And they're just like, the Patriots come out in the second half of a football game and it's like a whole new team. They're just collecting, getting all your tendencies. That's why Tom Brady's so good. That's why he's so good in the fourth quarter. He's literally like, he'll purposely throw a ball a place it's not supposed to go just to see how you react. Fourth quarter, done. And like, he tried to explain that to younger kids about learning the fundamentals and like, okay, yeah, we all want to watch the NBA and watch Kyrie Irving go off for 50. But he had the fundamental base before he got to that point. Yeah. Right? And it's like, and like Coach Huff says it, he's like, you see all these old coaches retiring because the culture of basketball, everyone just wants to shoot step backs and look good, and no one wants to learn the fundamentals. No one wants to run sets. No one wants to set a screen for their teammate and stuff like that, right? Like the nuances that we talk about in it. And it's important, right? And it sounds boring. It sounds like you're hating on my game. I'll meet a kid that's 6'10" telling me they're a combo guard. Yeah. Right? And it's like it just doesn't add up, right? But it's like, you're right. And those little things, it's like, this kid is athletic, he's tall, he's this, he's that, he's that. Why
they say, what you always hear is that, like, at the next level, I'm gonna be this.
Yeah.
So I got
about this level.
Yeah, but it's like, well, okay, like, if you're,
what about this?
come on, bro. The thing is, it's like, yo, like, oh, at the next level, I'm gonna be a 3.
In
I'm
the
a
States,
4.
I'd be a forward. Yeah.
And it's like, no, motherfucker. Like, what you can guard is what you can play. If you can't guard a 2.
And my biggest thing is like, if you're 17, just learn how to play basketball. Who cares? I would volunteer to play the 1 to 5 if I'm in high school, just to learn.
Yeah.
But everyone wants like position specific. The other day I heard the craziest thing. Huff showed us, a parent wants a position guarantee from a university for his kid. Yeah. Not even like playing time, not scholarship. He wants to guarantee what position his kid's gonna play.
That's wild.
And that's how crazy this shit's
making parents mad. We're making parents mad.
That's funny.
Like 1 through 5 this year from both of us. In one game, I played 1.
But it's basketball. Just step on the court and
Like,
do what you gotta do to
it's
win.
starting to get to a point where it's like the game's gonna evolve to the point, like you guys were just saying, like the game's gonna evolve, like there's gonna be no more sets. Everybody's gonna be 6'3" plus.
And it's adjustments.
And it's literally just gonna
The
be like,
Raptors.
everything's gonna be switch 5.
Look at the Raptors,
And you're the 5 this play, you're gonna start playing the offenses where it's like, it doesn't matter who brings the ball up.
Yeah,
Well, it shouldn't.
Like exactly.
Yeah, it
so
shouldn't, yeah.
so like that's why like
So round your game up. Right?
yeah, you in college, I can understand being in college and being frustrated that you're not playing your position. You know what I'm saying? Like I got frustrated when I wasn't playing my position. It is frustrating, but in high school, you know, like if you're at least getting minutes, like in high school, and you're not producing, like that's up to you. Because at the end of the day, high school basketball in most places is pretty easy. Like there's only really 2 or 3 guys on a high school team that are really like
And
that.
it should be.
Well, then, like we said, like everybody at the next level is the best player on their high school team.
Literally.
So
Exactly.
if they're like, yeah, at the next level I'm a 4, I'm like, okay, well you better be the best player on your team right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, if you're gonna like dictate what you're gonna do next, and that's the problem too. Is that like, okay, so you like scrape by to get that offer, but there's how many people that want guarantees, and they want like they come with like a negotiation demand checklist.
You can't do that.
You know what I'm learning too? Even in Canada, it's like the other day I even asked Ian and I asked Huff, I'm like when I was coming up, like it's not that kids look down on Canada, but the landscape we've been seeing in Canada, how tough it is to get an offer up here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think kids even understand how hard it's getting in Canada, and they're looking down. They have demands. They're not calling coaches back. They're this, they're that, and it's like it's even getting crazy in Canada. Like even if I was coming up in this landscape, I don't know if I would have went to because I wasn't calling coaches and reaching out, and I didn't have a 4.0. You know what I mean? Right? So.
Like you said at the beginning, like to play post-secondary basketball, to get your school paid
It's a
for,
blessing,
or help
bro.
to pay for it. Like you gotta be good, like at something. You know?
That's another part of it. Like that's another part of the like this basketball culture that's kind of fucked up. Is that like what happened to like the experience of playing college or university? Because like if you're gonna go to university anyway, then what does it matter if you get any money?
Yeah.
Right? Like I know that it's like the status of it, and it's like, oh, like is your whole life you're like, oh, I got to do this. If I don't get a scholarship, I won't be able to afford it. But like in reality, that's not the case for anyone in Canada. There's student loans.
And then if you legit can't afford it, the government will pay for your university.
Well, and
like there's low income grants, there's like
academics. You take care of academics, you can get like a lot of your school paid for.
Yeah.
Like it's actually insane.
And it's not even
It's not the same as like the States. The States
like 80%.
The States
So
is expensive. But.
So if you're on a U Sport team, and like if you're on a U Sport team and you have an 80,
if you have a 3.0, you get like
you get-
this
you get
this
your
year
tuition.
I would get like I've already started paying off next semester because of I had over a 3.0 and then as well as basketball.
Yeah.
Like
and I think
and that's like those are simple. Like I'm like
you're not even going above
3.1.
and
You know,
beyond.
I'm not even like a 3.5. Like
I
if you
think
got a
a lot of-
3.5, you're getting 4 scholarships that can pay off a semester and a semester.
and you're
and a
getting
semester.
it. So if you have a 90 in high school, it's prepaid.
Yeah.
So if you're on a U Sport roster and you have above a 90, they give you the money, and they're like, yeah, pay for
And
your
I think
stuff.
a lot of Canadians they put themselves in an American scenario. They're even like the student loan debt is, and it's like the reality is the student loans in Canada aren't that bad.
$4,000 a semester, $30,000 a semester.
And the payback
4,000
schedule, like
That's what I'm saying. Like
4,000 would be like
you don't have to pay it all
school
back.
for-
And then even over COVID, they stopped student loan payments.
Yeah.
But I think like kids are like, oh, I can't afford school. I don't want to take a student loan because I'll be paying it back my whole life. And they build in all these barriers in their mind that don't exist in Canada.
Like I get the stresses of like when you're done high school, you're like, how am I ever going to be able to afford a car? How am I ever going to be able to afford a house? How am I ever going to do like? Because like you don't know.
Yeah.
However, there are student loans, there are grants, there are bursaries, there's so many ways to get your school paid for.
And if you're not in athletics, like the amount of money you can make working part-time, living at home, saving your money.
But
So
it's the
also
struggle
a lie-
war.
It's also a lie that you go to the States and everything's easy. Like there's still spots where it's like there's guys that still need Pell Grant. There's guys that still have to do all these things just to be able
Man,
like
there's
to
little
eat.
things,
Like
there's little things you don't think of.
like unless you're going to like realistically, unless you're going to a school that has like a pretty high cost of attendance. Like,
Even then,
you're not getting that
there's
much.
no school in the States where there isn't someone that's like struggling.
Yeah, everyone's gonna struggle everywhere. Like no matter where you go, like
I
they're
hear that
struggling.
too. Kids that say, "Oh, I didn't take that offer in Canada because I have to get my school paid for, so I have to go to the States because I can't afford to go to school."
But they don't realize that like
With that mentality, you're gonna get yourself into a bad situation.
Yeah,
Where you're gonna be taken advantage of because like
You're
a
gonna
coach is gonna know like he literally needs money to be here.
Yeah, but how good do you have to be an international anywhere? Like how good does an American have to be to come to Canada and to get an international spot on a basketball team? How good does that guy have to be?
You just he's got to be very good.
Like he's got to walk in and be like, I'm in the starter. I'm in the top 7. I'm like,
That's the thing too, is like I'm starting to hear like people will be like, yeah, we're getting this guy from the States. Like I've seen, you know, other schools, I'm not gonna name names, but get a guy from the States that isn't even like that guy, but because he was an international guy, everyone's telling me he's gonna be so good. Like I've told my friends multiple times, like, okay, like if that team's getting a guy from the States, he still has to be better than all of us. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be a dog to come in and like come in and be an international player and play like heavy minutes. Like, if you're that guy,
and then
you're good.
the finances involved.
Yeah.
So if someone is like, okay, well, I'm gonna be an international and I want to go D1, that means that U of C, Mount Royal, State, Ambrose, locally, like you better be top 5 players of all those programs,
Like easily.
and if you're not,
Yeah.
your finances are not going to be taken care of in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Dinos are literally calling you like, okay, so if you don't get any D1 offers, like give me a call. Like you got to be at that level to be thinking I'm gonna be an international, it's gonna go to the States. And Huff even posted a chart of height, right? And we're even saying like Fofo, like your height was a knock against you being international.
Yeah.
He posted it. The average height of an international player is 6'7" and up,
Crazy.
right? Average.
But he's got a longer wingspan than them. Yeah.
So on top of that, but how many Canadian kids you know your height, right? You're like,
I mean, I tell people people think, okay, obviously, like, yes, I get it. Like, I'm bigger than the normal person. Like, I put on a lot more muscle mass than the normal person. And like, yes, I'm blessed that I'm athletic and I have a long wingspan. But then again, there's so many guys that look like me here in the States, overseas. Like, there's guys that look at me everywhere. So it's like that part even was like that was a knock for me. Like, coaches wouldn't take me because like I wasn't 3 inches taller.
exactly.
Yeah, really, like, the idea is, like, if you're in Canada, if you're not 6'8", looking in the rim when you dunk,
You gotta really turn heads.
Yeah, seriously.
But I will say that one of the best decisions, it wasn't even a decision, it just happened. Like, one of the best things that happened to me was my parents moving here to Canada. Because yes, I have to work harder, but when I lived in Sacramento, you know, like, yes, you get to live in the States, but there's so many people. Like, think about, like, you're in California, like, there's so many kids out there that even if you are doing like the right stuff, like you said, you have to check multiple boxes. Like, you still have to be a dog. Like, whereas like up here, you know, like I was a dog, and like I feel like there's more guys, like especially when I came to a market like Calgary, that were just like dogs that like helped push me even more. Even going out to Toronto, that pushed me so much. But coming up here literally like was an eye opener because people take advantage. They take it for granted that being from Canada is actually an advantage.
Yeah.
You get like it's more so like if you're an international that's good, you're at that level, like coaches will seek you out because they need internationals.
Yeah. And the other part too is that like our whole like youth development system is like geared towards pushing guys to become these international players in the States. Like really, like realistically, you go to any club program, you go to any youth program, you go to any high school, a lot of the messaging is like, you got to be good enough to go and do this.
Yeah.
Right? When it's like it's such a damaging message to send to youth because so you said 300 and some schools.
Yeah.
So, and of them they have 3 international spots.
Yeah.
So say every school has an international spot available. How many kids can they take in a year? Not that many, man.
And it's not like schools like have like there's like it was breaking news this year when LSU had 12 like scholarships or 13 scholarships left.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah,
every
that's
year,
big.
like
You have,
every
like, a
year,
couple,
you have like a couple. You have like 3 or 4
Yeah, because
scholarships.
they're
they gotta
building their
fill.
team. They're not starting their team from
Yeah,
scratch.
no, like unless you get like a brand new coach, like nobody's just like building their team from scratch. And even those guys are inheriting players.
Realistically, like every program will have 1 international spot available per year. Maybe. So say there's 250 international spots. So now you're looking at literally billions of people vying for those positions.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it.
It's madness.
The numbers are actually really crazy when you think about it. Just to play college basketball anywhere.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
crazy.
this isn't us like knocking anyone's dreams or like trying to build it up.
It's possible.
It's just reality.
It's possible. Just work hard.
Yeah, it's just math, right?
Like,
They're just
literally.
telling you the math. Like,
And it's like, it's possible. However, you have to get on the right routine as early as possible, and you have to get after it.
Yeah.
Like, you
You
gotta
gotta check
get
as
after
many
it.
boxes as you can.
And even then, like
even then you probably
And you need a huff.
that's what I'm saying. Even then, you need somebody in your corner,
And you
that-
still
to
probably
vouch for
won't
you.
make it.
And yeah, and still then
you know
like
what?
it's still hard.
It's like 90% chance, even with all of that, you're not gonna make it.
yeah.
And like that's just the reality of it.
Yeah. And you just gotta push. You gotta walk with faith.
Yeah.
Push as hard as you can until you're told no.
But to think that you could like make it without doing like the bare minimum is crazy. It's not kind of crazy. It's crazy.
But when you
But
hear
is it crazy? Because that's like the norm.
It's-
That's the common,
actually insane.
It's
the common
insane.
mindset. Like honestly, like out of all the kids that I talk to, there's probably the majority of them think they're going D1. Like I talk to less kids that don't think they're going D1 than that do think they're going D1.
It's crazy because like man, if you look at the track record of guys that haven't done anything, like look at where they all are. Like you would think like guys would look at it and be like, okay, like this guy was tough at basketball, but he never was in the weight room. He never worked on his game. He never did. And yes, like are there people in the world that are just gonna be good at basketball if they just roll out the bed? Yes, and those people are the 1%ers.
Less than that. Man.
Less than the 1%ers. Like there's only like my coach used to break it down for us. When you look at the league, like there's only really like 4 or 5 guys in the league that like you could be like, yo, this is the best player in the world.
Yeah, he's gifted. Like,
Just
naturally
gifted, like-
gifted.
like-
And I
just
guarantee
naturally
you that kid knew they were going to the NBA from like grade 7.
Maybe even younger.
I know,
like
those
literally,
guys don't just
Yeah.
you don't have a
Class
growth-
of 2031.
like literally, like literally.
And I've had conversations with parents who are like, I don't get the coach, this, that, and I'm like, the reality is like if your kid's like grade 11, 12, and they're like getting cut from their high school team and like like the proof is there. Like it's not the coach, it's not the and it's not like they're a bad kid or their life's not gonna go the right way, but it's like going and spending all this money, it's not gonna buy them success. Like you said, like some people are just better than you.
Some
And
people
you know
just
what?
are like there's just
And you know what? And your
levels to
ceiling
it.
might be high school, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
That's facts.
And
Yeah,
I think
you can
that
still enjoy
Exactly.
the game for the rest of
It's,
your
it's,
life.
it's the process. Like the thing that pushed me every day, like other than obviously like I want to get to my goals, was the joy in it. Like me and Avery, like we got memories like that'll last me like for the rest of my life. Like
Could you have gone D1 without Noah Leto?
Noah Leto? Honestly, no funny. I don't think I would have gone D1 without Noah Leto, or a person like Noah Leto.
Yeah.
Like Noah Leto was like my guy. Like he literally like forced me to be his friend when I first met him. Like no funny, and like that's like one of my best friends in the world right now. Like I make fun of Noah like all the time because that's my guy, and I love to push him because Noah is way better than he like allows himself to think.
Yeah.
But like Noah Leto's a guy that he did everything I did. He came to work out with me all the time.
Checked all the boxes.
He checked all the boxes too.
Noah,
It's
and
just-
Noah
he's-
maximized all his opportunities.
yeah, and he
I love
maximized
that.
to the best of his ability. And
Oh, yeah.
and guess what? Like sometimes it's just like that. You know, like me. Some people look at me and they're like, oh, like he plays at Maine. He plays at a Division I school. But some other people like are like, oh, well, he just plays at Maine. You know, it's all perspective. It's all perspective.
It is
like,
perspective,
It's
100%.
do what the best you can is, and you can't ever be at the point where it's like you're not giving 100%, because if you give 100% in everything, and let's say you do everything right, you check all the boxes, you do everything you possibly can, you give 120%, and you still don't make it. You can sleep with it at night and know like, okay, I gave everything I could, but it just wasn't in the cards.
But you know what? I feel like, and this is what I think it is. I think a lot of kids are being robbed of that, the experience, because everything is like, you have to get to this goal, right?
And if you're
all
not,
the-
you're nothing.
Yeah, you're nothing. You're
don't get
whack.
any
And I
flowers.
think a
But
lot
that's
of
sideline shit talkers.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's literally the same people that are like
that are sitting at
Oh,
home.
couch.
It's like the guys that like played high school, that
Couch
didn't even
critics.
play high school basketball. They're like, oh, you didn't go to college? It's like, buddy, like you literally are sitting on your couch, like in your mom's basement.
The couch
Yeah.
critics.
Like they're on their couch, laying down in their fucking dirty underwear with
No
10
job.
pizza boxes around
Yeah,
them, empty Mountain Dew containers all around them.
But those are people that you value their opinion.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but those opinions are valued, and there's like this. You talk, and I feel like kids are not just enjoying the sport for what it is; they're enjoying the relationships and.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we bonded over when me and Fofo first met.
It's the grind.
It's just because,
yeah.
we would I would go to the gym without Fofo and tell him, and he'd be like,
Yeah, I know. Funny, like it's
Are
actually
you serious?
It's actually beef. Like if you go to the gym, you don't tell me. Like, funny, like
He'd be like, are you serious? And then that night, I would be walking past the gym, hear a basketball bouncing, I'll go in and Fofo would be like, yo, you did this. You started this. You went to the gym without me. We either go together or...
It was like,
you need people like that's why like guys like Noah, you always need, and I'm always gonna say this for the rest of my life, you're gonna need a Noah Leto in your circle. Noah Leto literally he also motivated me to work harder, because if I was even tired, and let's not even say I was tired, let's say I even saw him even thinking about going to the gym. I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be at this level, he's supposed to be at this level. Why am I letting him try to outwork me? And Noah's my guy, so it's we would literally have conversations. It's if you're gonna go to the gym without me, it's all right, that's cool. I'm gonna be in there tonight.
Fofo would get so petty. He would literally so when we went to Notre Dame, he was a grade 12 and I was a post-grad. So I didn't have to abide by the curfew. So I'll be like, yeah, I'm going 12 a.m. And Fofo would be like,
okay, that's cool. I'm gonna see you at 6.
Cool. Or he would go to our head guy and we'd be like, let him come, please let him come. Yeah. And if he literally couldn't come to the gym, he'd still be kind of like, is he gonna go? Okay.
It
I'm
got
gonna get it in tomorrow. I'm gonna get it in when you guys are sleeping.
No funny. It got to a point.
You have to love the journey, because
it's fun.
there's that saying of a man that loves to walk will walk further than someone that has somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool saying.
It's a tough one.
That's
Say that again.
A man that loves to walk will get further than someone that has somewhere they need to be. Because the person has somewhere that
I'm stealing
Might get
tax.
it tatted.
because the guy that's I have this goal, I want to get there, then he gets there and he stops. Whereas the guy that he just loves to walk, in his life he's gonna do so much more shit. If you're you know what, I just like discipline, I like taking care of my life, I like putting everything in the right order, I like getting after it, your life is gonna be so much more successful. And that's why the goal of this podcast is to get to athletes about get the routine down, because in your
we
life,
always say the sport is the platform.
sport is the platform.
And it's so lost on everyone. They're just so oh, I gotta go here, I gotta be on this team, and we're no, it's you can use that to keep their attention, but what habits and daily routines are you putting into these athletes?
I think
right?
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so this year actually, when you had your heart, or in the last year,
Oh,
you had your
yeah.
heart
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
we never even talked about that.
Yeah,
I
so
forgot about that.
Fofo couldn't play, and we called and talked about it. Well,
Story of the Fofo life.
we called and talked about it, and Fofo at the time was like, I don't know if I'm gonna play basketball again,
Ever
right?
again.
And so he and me kind of had the conversation, because I've dealt with injury as well, is your identity outside of sport, and you're saying, these concepts and things that can't leave you if you don't have, if sports gets taken away or when it ends, it has to translate.
I remember
that was what you grew and you noticed. You were like, I gotta find myself.
Yeah, because you
without
get to that
basketball.
point where this year, I nobody knows what I went through this year. This year was this is probably the first time anyone will ever know, outside the people that are really close to me. I started the year off 2021. I started the year off in quarantine from pretty much the end of January all the way through till the end of February, literally in a dorm room, quarantine straight. I was out of quarantine for maybe 3 days. And then after that, I couldn't do any physical activity. Literally the most physical activity I could do is get up and go to the dining hall to get my food for 6 months. And then I had a month to try and just enjoy the game, get back, and then we started workouts, then we started our season, And through that, I literally called Avery and I'm trying to figure out, man,
I wish
what do I do now?
You could read that tweet you put out.
Oh yeah, because it weighs on you, and I feel what people that are watching this need to really, really understand is this isn't made to make you feel you're not supposed to feel bad about this. Oh man, these guys are just trying to put me down. It's no, it's we're trying to motivate you. Literally, it's free sauce. It's literally free sauce. It's free game, bro. It's literally everything. The Suns coach said it. Everything you want is on the other side of hard. To get to to play at a college level, like you're gonna have to sacrifice in high school. But like everybody wants to be like the man in high school. Like, yo, I'm the man in high school. I know everybody. I go out all the time. Like, it's fun and all that. Like, you could do that in
Coach
college.
lets me do what I want. I show up late.
You know, you could do all that stuff in college. But it's like, how? Like, just imagine like you're trying to be the man in high school. High school's 4 years of your life. You're trying to be the cool guy all through high school, and then guess what? You don't do anything with it. Now you're just like chilling.
Yeah, peaked at 18.
And then everyone that comes back to your city, or everyone that's in your city is just gonna look at you like, yo, that guy's sad. it's depressing. Like nobody wants to be around that guy because it's like you didn't think to yourself like, yo, like it's bigger than just like going to a high. I promise a college party is more fun than a high school party. I promise. I can guarantee.
How many times I've said that to kids, man?
But they don't want to hear it. They want
If you think about your favorite memories when you were working, like when you look back at like that Notre Dame year, I'm sure some of your favorite memories aren't the partying we did.
Yeah.
It's like the work we shared. It's like
it's the road trips. It's like eating with your teammates. It's the games.
road trips.
It's not the road trips when Amy throws up on you. But it's the road trips. It's the road trips other than that. You know.
But there's like the saying of like you can't get unless you give, and it's like the idea of sacrifice. You cannot get to the goal that you want without giving something up.
You have
Whether
to.
that's like time with your family, sacrificing your time with your friends, whether that's like, you know, giving up on, I can't have this dream because I want this dream.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I think a conflict some kids have too, right? Because you finish high school and like you get like a part-time job or something that might be a full-time job even that's paying you pretty good money for like an 18, 19-year-old. And I think a lot of kids are like, oh, I'm making money, like why would I put that aside to go to school and be broke? And it's like being said, right? Like, and I always ask them, is this your career? No. So then why are you sacrificing something that is a 5-year window for a job that literally when you're done playing in 5, that job will still be there.
It'll always be there.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's not your career, and it's like, and I tell all the like that's why I always say like get it done in high school. Everyone's like, well, I'm gonna upgrade, but there's a lot of different distractions. When you finish high school, there's like the club.
Yeah.
Your boys are buying cars, nice clothes, popping bottles. Like you wanted to go do that. You don't want to be upgrading at Chinook College and taking the bus and like.
Yo, like the craziest thing that I've ever seen this year is like you can't get caught up in the social media stuff because that stuff is all fake. Like I've literally seen, I'm not even gonna say their name. I've seen dudes like jump in a rental, post real quick, get out. And then like they're just like you're creating some like don't chase what other people are
The
doing.
other
Like,
dudes are like this at home. Like,
yeah, like literally like
I want to get like him.
you're better than me.
yeah, like
okay.
you're literally at home. You're at home trying to like get like these guys, but like these guys aren't like this in real life. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
even close.
They're not even enjoying life. Like the thing that I can say is like, yeah, basketball as you get older, like if you're not making it to the NBA, like everyone's path is different. Like you start figuring that part out of it. But when you think about your actual lifestyle, like what do you want your lifestyle to be when you're playing in college? Like, do you want to be a guy that like, oh, I didn't do enough, and now I just got here and I'm just barely scraping it, and now I'm like stressed about stuff where it's like, man, like I gave it all, and now it's like I'm getting the fruits of my labor. Like you're gonna have a good time.
You're reaping the rewards.
Yeah, like literally, it's like you have to sacrifice a little bit of time because my parents always say this to me all the time, and they try to put in perspectives for me because I get so mad at myself like when I'm playing, like I still do, you know, because you want to be at a certain standard, but something that like really grounds me is like my parents always say like at the end of the day, like if you play at max, you're gonna play for another 30 years, like at the very maximum, and that's actually no, that's the pause. I'm 21. At the very maximum, at the very maximum, I can only play for 19 more years, like in any capacity, like that's the maximum. So it's like you have to think long term. You think outside of basketball, like what do you actually want to do? Like, are you doing stuff to fulfill you? And that's what we talked about. Like it feels so lonely. Like if you go through something like an injury where it's like, yo, like basketball now is taken from you completely.
But your mom was like when you were dealing with like the heart stuff, your mom was like a real, because I remember we were talking on the phone when you were in North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, you were like, yeah, my mom said was, you know, regardless of what happens, she doesn't give a shit as long as I come home with that lawyer, right? That lawyer.
My mom, like literally, like Like she tells me
and
all the
that's
time.
a real message, man. Like, yeah, they all like they're supporting your dreams. They love your you're an athlete. You're living your dream, this, that, and that. And like you said it, right? So if you play sports until the age of 30, that's like a borderline Hall of Fame career.
Like you're
right?
literally blessed. Like that's sick.
But the average life expectancy in North America is what, like 7 years old.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do for the rest of that time?
You're just gonna like hang on, just like hang around gyms,
Exactly.
like going to high school games.
So if nothing was put into you outside of basketball and there was no foundation, then what? And we see it happening even younger. I see kids at 21 that are like no life skills.
I won high school championship.
No coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're spinning right now, and they're 20.
You gotta think about
Right?
You gotta think about what's after.
Your past, like regardless of what you've done in your past, you can always look back and admire it, but you can't stare back because then you're just like you're standing still. Like you can look back, admire it, but there's more shit to do, right? Like once you stop learning, once you stop having goals, like you've settled, you're on autopilot, and like you're gonna die. Like 30 years is gonna go by, but it's gonna feel like
You're gonna be that person when
I
you
never
see.
want to not have a goal. Like never.
Yeah, you gotta keep going. Man.
It sounds horrible.
But there's like a narrative now, like there's something wrong with you if you keep wanting to achieve stuff. Isn't it enough? Relax, right?
and it's toxic,
Yeah.
toxic masculinity or something. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Like,
So if you could go back and give like young Fofo some advice, or if you could give like a young athlete some advice, like what would your advice be?
If I get back. Honestly, I would just the biggest thing that I've learned is just like the variety that you have to add to your game, like different variations. You know, like I probably did a lot of stuff like off the dribble with finishing with my right hand.
Yeah.
But like this is like my third year in college, and like now I'm just like starting to like figure out like how much more open the game can be. Like if you were able to be versatile with both your hands. So, and that's just an example. I'll just say like versatility and stuff like that, and like it makes a big difference getting a schedule and a routine right now. Right now, like the schedule and routine that you builds a foundation for the rest of your life.
Who builds it? Who builds it though?
Community.
No. This is the thing. This is part of it though. It's like you build
Yeah,
it.
you have to build it.
Because
like,
that's something that we were talking about earlier too, right? Is that like, what's sad, what happens is that like, you know, kids that are coming up in the youth programs, they don't learn how to make sure they manage their own life, and they get to university and they fall apart.
Yeah, nobody's there to check on you. Like let me not say nobody, because I do have I have an academic advisor, and I have coaches that do care about me.
But you have to go to them.
But
Yeah,
you
you
that's
gotta
what I'm
reach
saying.
out to
Academic
them.
advisor's not like,
That's what I'm
yo,
saying,
you're
like,
failing, bro.
You have
After
to,
the fact, they
like you literally have
failed.
to seek those people out and do that stuff. But like the reason that I'm able to go through my weeks and like have structure is because like of the foundation I built right now. And it sounds like some people, it sounds stupid. It sounds like I'm just chatting. I'm just trying to like say stuff. But it's like I promise, like the schedule that you build right now will literally be the foundation that will help you in college. Because in college, like you're gonna get up at 7 a.m. and you're gonna have a lift, and then you'll have individuals, and then you're gonna have class, and then like you have to come in and get some work in for the rest of the day. Like you have to go in the gym again and go get some work in.
especially if you're a freshman.
Exactly. And then you gotta study, you gotta make sure you get your work done. And then you gotta find time in there to make sure you eat, have a social life,
talk to your mom,
talk to your parents, and
Yeah.
take care of yourself. Like invest in yourself. Like that seems like a lot of things to do, but there's really so much time in the day that if you manage your time correctly,
You know who's killing it with that right now? Is young Merc.
smart man.
Young Merc is killing it because he like we talk about like schedule, like me and him talk all the time about that stuff. This guy sends me like his like notepad of what he's gonna do. He even has in there about like how many pages in a book he reads a day.
That's dope.
Like he has it down
I
to
need
that.
to get that.
Like
A lot of kids can learn from him. He's another one of those kids where it's like, I've seen him like I've literally watched this kid grow up since like he was in grade 8, grade 7. Like he's literally done like he's literally just followed everything that I did. Like, I'm not a terrible guy that I've done, and like he's literally been putting the work, and he's even doing more. Like I wasn't doing that when I was in.
his change from last year to this year has been like night and day.
Merc, yeah.
Like last year when he was on the prep team, like he was literally like crying every week.
Merc, yeah.
He was like the chubby kid on the team, right?
Why?
Like,
Was he homesick?
no,
He just
like,
wasn't ready.
He just wasn't ready.
Like it got to the point where Huff told him like, Merv, just go play high school basketball. Like you're not a prep player.
Wow.
You're not like.
Yeah,
Now he's
that's
a
crazy.
dog.
Yeah,
He's a
And
dog.
then he came back the next year. He's our team captain, voted on by the team.
Unanimous, every person voted for him.
And when we tell guys on the team what he was the year before, they almost like don't believe us.
Well, because how much weight did he lose in the off-season?
He was like 240 at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, like I think he lost like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Keto diet?
No, I put him on a running routine.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, Merck was running like.
Yeah,
what?
actually, I remember.
Minimum,
I was
what,
text-
60K a
I was
month?
texting that. I was texting him that summer, and he was just telling me how much he was running, how much he was working.
Yeah,
Remember
I had
that?
him on a running. I got the listen Nike. Listen, I got the Nike
He
Run
needed
app.
gym sponsorship.
The Nike Run app. And so what we were doing is I was setting up challenges for every month, and me and him were running. How much did I run that summer?
Yeah,
Like,
like 200K all in maybe.
I ran 230 kilometers in 1 month.
God, you're a crazy guy.
And like, so me and
I'm
Merck,
trying to do the math on that.
and like, there was like one point like me and Merck, like there was like 1 day left to finish the challenge, and Merck had, I think it was like 1 or 2 kilometers to finish to get ahead of me, and I went out that day and I ran like 15 kilometers just so that I would finish ahead of him.
This guy's crazy.
Yeah, and it clicked for him because like he wasn't even close to that. He couldn't even get through practice. He was like so out of shape.
Yeah, and but when he came, he was like, he was that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
cool,
thought
yeah.
he was.
Yeah,
he-
yeah.
Like the term we used with Merck was like, Merck, going D1 isn't just because you're next. Because like, Deshaun went and he thought it was just his turn and then Isaac's turn and then Bay's turn. Like, and we're like, it doesn't work like that. It's not like a waiting game. Okay, I'm next. Like the D1 train showing up.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Huff had to tell him like, man, go play high school basketball in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
What's his Harvest City or
Yeah.
whatever.
But then he came back. He got after it that summer, came back and was ready. And then not only was he ready, but he was laughing at the other guys because they weren't ready, right? Like he was setting the pace, setting the tone, getting after guys, and they're like, "Oh, why is this guy like that?"
Yeah.
It's just like he's locked in, man.
Yeah.
We even had kids
for sure.
later in the year be like, I thought, like I used to make fun of Merck with the other guys and this and that, and they're like, then a couple months in it finally started clicking, and then I started feeling better. Like that's what Chris said. He's like, I started going to bed early,
Yeah.
woke up, eating healthy, like putting
he
my
set
phone
the
away.
example.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? I started feeling better, right? And it's like,
Yeah, he's like Merck is a leader.
he didn't care. He didn't care who liked him. He didn't care who was talking shit
He's a
about him.
wolf. I like him.
Yeah.
Dog, bro.
Yeah.
We got to the point where we got to be like, okay, Merck, let someone else answer. Right?
Okay, where every episode I ask this. Outside of basketball, what is your therapy? Your mental like peace? Like where you're like, I'm able to.
Don't say dates.
This is a family program.
Don't say 10:30 date nights because like that is not a date.
Yo,
This is a family
my
show.
therapy outside of basketball. Honestly,
Kids are listening.
Honestly, like no funny. My dog Coco this year has been my rock. No, I wouldn't have made it through this year without my dog. No funny. Like I swear to God, like my dog literally like kept me sane this year. Like
What kind of dog is it?
she's a pit bull terrier. She's like three years and like 4 months now.
Do you watch the movie Dog?
No, I actually haven't.
Watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it actually good? It looks
Yeah,
like a student movie, so I was like,
It's not one of those.
No, it's good.
It's good? I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check
It's
it.
sturdy.
Alright,
It's
alright,
sturdy.
But okay, so like obviously like her, but like
No, that's a good one.
I'd say
She
like
probably kept your mind off stuff because you had someone to take care
yeah, she doesn't and like even just like if I'm in my room and like kind of like yeah, it's just company, man. Like and I can take her for a walk whenever like me and her just like kicking in my room. Like she knows like if I'm having a tough day, she will just lay there and kick it with me, you know. But other than that, like clearing your mind, going outside, like fresh air, get some fresh air, like that'll save your life. Either whether that's a drive, like you just going to drive somewhere, you go put your car up and you're just like outside. Make sure you're outside. Like that's what's been really like keeping me sane.
Yeah. I love it. And then what's your goal? What's your goal for the next year?
My goal for the next year.
Basketball and outside of basketball.
Okay, so I'll do my outside of basketball first. Outside of basketball, next year I'm graduating, so I want to graduate I think it's summa cum laude or magna cum laude, one of the two. It's whichever one's higher. I want to graduate with honors, with that being, I think it's like a 3.5 GPA or higher in university. That's what I want to finish with. Hopefully try to get like a 3.9. And then I also like want to start getting ready for the LSATs and applying to law schools.
Oh yeah.
And then on the basketball side of it, like I want to be in the best shape of my life going into this next season. I want to be the best shape of my life. I want to have everything to the point where it's like talking about like points, rebounds, any of that stuff. I don't really care about any of that stuff. I want to be able to be in the best shape that I could possibly be, so that whatever comes out of it,
This guy.
Just ready, right?
This guy's talking about it, but when I look on his Instagram, all I see is pasta and cream sauce.
whoa, whoa!
All I see is big food.
Big food. I'll also tap in, if you need to tap in Fofo Token on IG, I'll get you a proper meal plan. I'm only charging about $20 to $30 for consulting.
Consulting.
That's it, consulting. All right, man. No, it's awesome. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Love, man. Appreciate y'all.
Oh my God. PG for life, right?
PG for life.
Okay, that's the episode. Thanks for watching, and remember, follow us on all our social medias for more stuff coming up.
Yeah, I'm in my own lane. 4-3 reppin', yeah, my gon' bang. It's like a but they ain't speaking on my name. I'ma make this money, I'm about to free the gang, yeah. On my beer on the back, these call me Stephen Curry. Gotta make this money, gotta make it in a hurry. Do it for the gang so my don't have to worry, yeah.